Welcome to another episode of Insurance Isn't Always Black and White.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Kevin Gazitua here with my friend Mr. Donte Harris, and we have some interesting topics we're going to speak about today.
How you feeling today, Kevin, first and foremost?
You know, I feel good. Beginning of the month.
Yeah.
So it's wide open. Let's see what we can bring in. Let's see what we can close before it ends. It's always exciting, especially when the last week of the last month is sort of a battleground, and then kind of are back to square one.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's like a refresh, a restart.
Yeah. Another interesting thing about this month, about March, is that I actually am running into my first renewal.
Come on, let's go,
first
bro.
Renewal comes up March 22nd. It was a homeowner's account. That was the first account I bound here at JAG.
Wow.
It had a 170% increase in pricing. So
Wow.
yeah, that's
That was fun to spin, right?
it's a new aspect of the job.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm going to start expecting the same for all my other renewal accounts. Homeowners in South Florida, it's kind of like that. But hey, it's a new added sense of security where I do have some existing accounts.
Yeah.
I'm not just cruising pure commission only with nothing on the book. So I'm excited about it. It's just there's differences in selling new accounts to people versus selling renewal accounts.
Right.
It's harder to be the good guy on a renewing account just because insurance kind of tends to go
But
up.
I would say, and I mean, you can speak to this, obviously, I don't have any renewals yet, but I feel like being in a relationship with that person over the course of the year kind of, I don't know, softens the blow. If you do have, like, say, a spike of 170% increase, just being able to be like, hey, like, we've been in communication for, 365 days, 366 with a leap year. So I just want to make sure that you're aware what's coming, what's happening, and I love, the system, the processes that we have in place. But like, I think there's obviously barriers, right, and obstacles and everything. And one of the things that I like to do for myself is just make sure that I always have a positive outlook or positive attitude. And so every obstacle is an opportunity.
Yeah.
Every setback is really a setup for me to do something crazy and wild or something that was unexpected. And so today I know we're going to be focusing on, overcoming barriers. And so, like, just to set the field, what has been one of the biggest barriers for you in the insurance industry or getting into the insurance industry?
Yeah, so, for some background for our listeners, I came from around a 4-year position as a commercial insurance underwriter.
Yeah.
And I was also a producer during that time. So my job was to go out and list agents and have them send me their clients for me to place in the commercial marketplace.
Okay, so you were already setting a book of business up.
Yes.
And you were on the underwriter side getting risks.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I underwrote the risks, I put the policies together, but I also resold those policies to the agents to sell to their clients. So
Okay.
I was their broker, but I was also their underwriter.
Yeah.
And it was a very technical role where I had to learn a lot about commercial insurance, had to learn a lot about the marketplace.
Love technicalities.
And but it was actually pretty interesting when we're talking about things I had to learn is you would think, this guy has so much experience in commercial insurance, it'll
Yeah.
be a seamless transition into being an agent.
Yeah.
But, reality is a little bit different. So a lot of the barriers that I faced was just kind of different attitudes in the sales process. Selling to an agent is very different than selling to a client directly.
Right.
The level of knowledge
Right.
they have and your responsibility in educating them is on a completely different level.
Mm-hmm.
So it became less about me actually understanding the product on a micro level to being able to communicate it in a manner that they can understand on a person-to-person level.
And I think that's the trick in insurance, right? Like, a lot of people don't really know a lot about insurance.
Yeah.
However, it's our job as the professional or as their agent to really break it down in a way that's digestible for them. And I feel like in Miami, I love Miami, right? I think in any industry or any conversation I've ever had with someone, most of the time I have to explain it, find another way to paraphrase it, and then re-explain it so that they can really kind of understand it and move forward with it. And for me, the obstacle or the opposition is just being humble, right? Taking on a follower role rather than a leader role. So many aspects of my life, whether it be sports, whether it be at church and ministry, I'm always in a leadership position. And so I am the person who, like, helps people and guides people. But right now in insurance, coming in my first year, it's really like, hey, who are my mentors?
Yeah.
Because I believe personally, you can either learn from mistakes or you can learn from mentors. And I always want to choose the latter. I want to limit my mistakes.
And if you learn from mistakes, it's better to learn from your mentor's mistakes.
Come on. Now, that's a word right there.
There we go.
I mean, I've had a couple of mistakes that I've already had to deal with so far as an agent, and let me tell you right now, like it turns my stomach. It feels so uncomfortable, and it's something that I will always remember. Like for instance, I had my first policy that I ever wrote. It was for a friend, and I messed up, so I had to call him back and say, "Hey, man, like instead of charging you X amount, it's going to be $300 more." Then I had to call him back again about a week later after it was bound, after the event had already happened, and been like, "Hey, man, like I know that you wrote me a check for this amount, but unfortunately, I didn't include this fee, so you owe me another $100." And the lead up to having that conversation, gut wrenching. Both. And the second time, I literally was like, I don't know if I can like substitute my stomach or trade it in for something, because this thing is twisted up in a way that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Those situations kind of make you just want to crawl in a hole and die.
Oh,
and
I cried.
Yeah.
I went home and I cried that day.
I've had plenty of those, unfortunately, throughout the years. And what's also another aspect of being an agent is that it doesn't even have to be your mistake sometimes.
Yep.
If it's a carrier mistake, or if it's an outside broker mistake, or if it's even something the client did
Yep.
that they misrepresented material to you, it's still going to be viewed as your fault. You're still going to have to answer for it. And even if they don't view it as your fault, you're still going to have to be the one that fixes it.
Yeah.
So you're always taking responsibility, and our job is to take that responsibility at the end of the day. So becoming comfortable with those horrible conversations is just part of the job.
Yeah.
The more you have them, the easier it gets, but it's never going to be easy. It's never going to be fun, and you're always going to get that same gut-wrenching feeling.
Yep.
It's just, you're going to have been there before. It's like the athletes or the fighters that they get nervous before the big event every time, no matter what, but
That
they
just
still
shows you
go in there
care.
and perform.
You know, I think
Yeah.
like me being nervous just shows how much passion I have towards something. And honestly, I want to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like in life, right?
Yeah.
Not just in insurance, not just in sales, not just in our job. I want to get comfortable being uncomfortable. One of the producers here on our digital marketing team, Juan, he says the only thing constant in life is inconsistency.
Yeah.
Like
Growth begins outside of your comfort zone in all
Yeah.
aspects of life.
Oh yeah, and you get in those uncomfortable positions, you grow, and then next thing you know, you're in another uncomfortable
Yeah.
position to learn from.
So kind of circling back, when we're talking about when I transitioned from being a broker to being an agent,
Yeah,
one of the biggest things I learned, and it's especially a huge factor in Miami, is managing expectations and changing mindset of your clients. So touching on managing expectations at first, 99% of people here don't really understand how the process works.
Yeah.
How many people are involved in placing insurance.
Yeah.
And how technical it can be. So when you're speaking with a client for the first time, the most important thing you can do is manage their expectations. And that could be on turnaround time. That could be on what price may look like. But another thing is, now how I have my renewal coming back around in March, is we know the homeowners market is difficult.
Yeah.
So when you're speaking with a new client, you have to prepare them for this renewal increase, because we're seeing it across the board. And that's where our collaboration with everyone else in our office, and that's when all of our internal education comes into play.
Yeah.
So when I place a new homeowners account, yeah, maybe I got them a great deal this year, but I prepare them. I say, hey, look, this is going to go up next year because everything is going up. Insurance is a commodity. It's like gas. The price of gas is up. You're just going to pay more for gas. There's not really much else you can do.
yeah, you got to get to work.
And
dog.
insurance is the same thing. So it's managing that expectation. And that's huge. And then the other kind of changing mindset aspect is people here buy on price.
Yeah,
More so than elsewhere. I've worked accounts all over the state. I've worked accounts in other states, and Miami is a little bit unique in the fact where everyone's just trying to get their bill down. Cost of living here is very high, and it's very understandable. But at the end of the day, we have to get them out of that mindset and get them into the mindset of protecting their assets properly.
Yeah.
And when people are in that mindset of protecting their assets properly, they become more receptive to some of these expectations you try to manage.
I think it starts with us though.
It always starts with us.
Right, it starts with our attitude, and if we can change our attitude, then that's proof that we can change their attitude toward anything.
Yeah.
We have to sell them on the fact that protecting their assets is in their best interest, and the policy or the coverages that we present them is in their best interest. But first and foremost, like, you have to know that going into this, like, I care more about our customer, I care more about our client, making sure that they're protected than like my bottom line.
And this is the thing too, is that what they have to understand is that we are held responsible
We
our
can go to
clients.
jail.
Go to jail. We can have our errors and omissions sued. So it's in our best interest to make sure our clients have proper coverage in place.
It's in my best interest not to go to jail.
Yeah.
I just like two things I don't think that I would be successful at. Jail, one of them, and like playing professional football. I just don't think that I would be very basketball, possibly. But football, no. Because like it hurts.
I don't like to get hit very much.
I don't like and you know what? Throw boxing in there too.
Yeah.
I just don't like to get hit in the face.
Yeah.
But like Mike Tyson said, man, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And I think this first year is about getting punched in the mouth over and over again so that I can figure out what the plan is.
I just finished my first year and I got punched in the mouth a lot.
Yeah.
And, it does make sort of your plans go out the window, but it also helps you develop new ones.
Yep.
And you think about a fighter in a fight, maybe they're having a tough time dealing with the other guy's jab. They're just getting stung with this jab, stung with this jab. Okay, but then they go to their corner. They talk with their coaches, their mentors.
Hello.
And they develop a counter for that jab.
Look at you bringing this thing full circle.
Exactly. So that's what you have to do. So you get punched in the mouth, you regroup, you
Yep.
get with your mentors, you speak with your team, and you develop a plan. And what your corner does, and what any fighter's corner does, is they game plan for their fighter's strengths. You don't try and bring your weakness all the way up to your strengths. What you do is you magnify your strengths.
Yeah.
You multiply them. You get stronger. No one's going to tell Mike Tyson to fight on the outside. You want him on the inside, blasting you with uppercuts.
I don't want him near me.
I don't even want to ever make him upset in any way, shape, or form. But that's pretty much what it's about, and it's about playing to your strengths. So when you're developing these plans with your mentors, that's the biggest key. And when we're talking about humility, it's almost like not only do you have to own your mistakes, but you have to talk about your mistakes with your mentors, not just your victories.
Right.
You can't just try to impress the bosses every day. They're there to help you out of ruts. So you have to bring your mistakes to the table. Say, I messed up here. What do I do? How can I get out of this hole? And that's what mentors are there for.
That's called humility right there.
It's humility, and that's how you learn from their mistakes. That's when they come around. They've all had them. Anyone in this business that's been around for any amount of time has plenty of horror stories because it's a difficult business, and there's a lot of different things to learn. There's so many moving parts, and it takes time to really get acclimated. And you can even be in the business 10, 15, 20 years, and stuff still happens. And a lot of times, something that's completely out of your control can kill a deal, can piss off a client, can lose you money. And it's just about rolling with punches. So that humility that you have to sort of embrace and the ego that you have to leave at the door is what's going to make you successful. And, everyone has their areas for opportunity and where they can get better. I came in, I thought since I knew commercial insurance and all of that great stuff, that it would be easy for me. And this has been one of the more challenging endeavors in my life just because there's an entire side of client direct sales that I hadn't really explored. And all these new challenges were exactly that. They were challenges, and you can only fix one little thing at a time. So it's no one ever grew from a compliment. It's in those things where you have challenges, you have shortcomings, and you pick yourself up and you keep going. So what do you think? What's a challenge for you that you've faced in your time here? What do you think is the hardest thing?
Leaving my ego at the door. Like I'm one of those people who I think that my way is a really, really good way. It may not be the very best way, but I'm still exploring to figure it out. And once you tell me something that's better, then like I'm still kind of weary. I'm like, let's play it out. But if your way's better, I'm moving forward with it. But again, because of the way that I am and the different spaces that I lead in all across my life, I think that kind of, I don't want to say it makes me short-minded, but it definitely allows me to think that my way is a little bit better than yours until it's proven. And so leaving my ego at the door, literally sitting down and being humble, opening my ears, opening my mind to a better way, being out there, not just my way. That's me. Yeah,
so it's like you spend so much time operating with high confidence, right?
Oh, bro, but when you have high confidence, it's so close to the realm of overconfidence. And when you get into overconfidence, pride comes before the fall, right? And you don't want to fall. You want to be proud, but you don't want to have too much pride.
And it's about being confident in the right places. You can be confident in your ability.
But
you can't be confident in knowledge when you don't have that knowledge, or you can't be confident in experience when you don't have that
Absolutely.
experience. But you can be confident in your ability to learn. You can be confident in your ability to be thorough,
Yep.
to solve problems,
Yep.
to talk to the right people, to get the right things done. And you can be confident in your ability to analyze a situation and find the right way. But it's about placing your confidence in the right places, aligning them with your
And not
strengths.
in the right. Yeah, absolutely. I want to always place my confidence in the right people in the right way. I don't want to place it in myself if I don't know which way I'm going.
Yeah, and it's about not, just because you're developing a new skill set doesn't mean you have to change who you are.
Oh, absolutely.
You're
not.
still the same guy.
You
with
always
the same
going to get the
strengths.
same Donte, Kevin.
Exactly.
Don't you worry
man.
about that.
Yeah, and it's putting that spin, putting that person
Yeah.
in insurance, because you didn't get into insurance to become an insurance person. You came in here to be you, disrupting the market, making sales, and offering people Donte and insurance. It's different. And that's why the sales side of things was very appealing to me, because it allows you to insert more of yourself into your role.
Yeah.
Where I was before, I essentially was liaison for carriers to agents, and I was wearing other people's hats all day. And the freedom I have now to sort of be myself and exhibit my strengths
You're doing that right now.
is thank you, and that's something that I'm grateful for.
I think that's great. Well, I think we're going to continue to just find our way through this. Appreciate you guys for listening. Thank you for tuning in. As we continue to go forward in our insurance journey, we hope that you guys subscribe and keep coming back.
Thank you guys very much.